Hi everyone. Today we are going to talk about the prior approval supplements, that is the PAS. So, very first we'll discuss about the why this post approval changes occurs. For example, there is one particular drug product that you have filed into the US market, okay, and you have launched your product, everything is going good. Then why there is need to make any changes into your approved product? What are all those scenarios where you are feeling there is need to make any changes into your approved drug? So there might be an process optimization. That's why you have to change your approved drug process, or the cost reduction. For cost reduction, for example, you have added new site, new instrument, or you change the design, you change the principle of any operating instrument. So that could be also a change for the price reduction. Or you want to scale up, you want to transfer your site, you want to transfer into the new building, or you just want to add on the another building for that, or some of the regulatory or quality improvement. So these are just some of the like possible scenarios. In those cases, you need to make changes into your approved drug. And in order to make those changes, you have to file the prior approval supplement. The name itself suggests that prior prior means the before making any change, you have to file this supplement, and this comes this for the your post approval changes. These changes must be reported to the regulators like the USFDA. Now we'll talk about the regulatory basis for this. These post-approval changes are governed by your 21 CFR 31470, and there is one guidance as well, that is change to an approved NDA or ANDA. Now the classification. So you have to determine like whatever the change that you are making into your approved drug, are these changes are major, minor, or moderate. And according to that, there are three classes in which you can file your post approval changes. The first one will be your pass, and this pass is only for the major changes. The second one we have CB. In CB again you have CB0 as well as CB30. And this one will be for the moderate changes, and all the minor changes you can submit it into the annual report. So that's what they have mentioned here. If there are any major changes which has high risk, you have to go with pass. For the moderate, you can with more medium risk, you can go with CB0 or CB30. And obviously for all the minor changes, at the end of the year, you can include all those into your annual report and submit to the agency. Now we'll discuss what Now we'll discuss in detail about the PAS, prior approval supplement, its definition, example, also some of the case studies we're going to talk about. So first thing first, its definition. Prior approval supplements is required for the major changes, as we have discussed earlier, that have a substantial potential to adversely affect your identity, strength, quality, purity, potency, or in short, you can call it as in quality, safety, or efficacy. Any change which is majorly affecting your quality, safety, and efficacy, in that case, you have to file your prior approval supplement for the major changes. Now, this approval from the USFDA is required before implementation of any change. Now I will give one example here. Okay, we also have some of the example below. So here they have mentioned very important line, that is approval from the USFDA is required before implementation of that change. For example, we have manufacturing site change. Initially, any company, let's take an example of Novartis, Switzerland-based MNC. So let's suppose Novartis want to change its any let's suppose manufacturing site which is based in the Denmark, and from Denmark they want to transfer this site to the any city like California. In Denmark you can take any city like Copenhagen. So from the Denmark they are transferring to the US in California. So this manufacturing site change, this will going to be a major change. So for this site change, first they have to approach the agency and to the USFDA, and to the USFDA they have to send all the documentation. They have to submit the pass. In pass they have to provide all the documents, supporting document along with form, cover letter, stability data, validation, everything, also the new site detail, all the necessary things they have to include into this pass submission. Then FDA will going to evaluate. Generally FDA for the pass submission, they takes the 6 months. This is the like standard timeline. You can also check for the standard timeline as well as for the priority review. For the priority review it may take 4 months. So FDA will first determine if all the requirements are met, then only they will be going to approve your pass application, and after that you can implement those changes, not before. Because before implementation you need approval from the FDA. So that is about the your pass. The second example we have in pass, like the major process change. You are changing any process, making the any major change like change in synthesis route, or the new critical process parameter is changed, or even the, let's take an example of scale which is beyond the one particular graduation range. The next example we have in process change, that is the formulation change. In formulation change you could see it might be change in excipient, or you can also say change in the source of the API supplier. For example, your formulation contains the excipient which has a direct impact on the release. And if you are changing such critical excipient, in those cases, you need to take and permission from the FDA, and then only you can change this excipient. Or you are changing the supplier of this excipient, which will be going to like impact your quality of your final formulation. In those cases also you need to take an prior approval from the FDA, and then you can make the changes into your final product. The another example of prior approval supplement is a specification change. If you are specifically widening the any limits, and not really the tightening, because for not applicable for all the cases, because if you are tightening the limit you could also go with the CBE, either 0 or 30, general 30. But for the like, if you are widening any specification limits, in those cases you must to file the prior approval supplements. Another specification change might be new impurity limit. This also in this case also you need to take prior approval supplement. Then we have container closures system change, like new packaging material or change in the impacting stability. On those cases also you need to file the prior approval supplement. Moving on to the some of the case studies which are mentioned here. So here the manufacturing site change. A company manufacturing the dexamethasone shifts the API production from India to the new facility in Europe. So assessment is the new site, new equipment, and there might be an chances of potential variability. So the decision of filing either pass, CB, or annual report. Obviously, we cannot file it into the annual report because it will be going to have a direct impact on your quality, and if the quality get affected, it will ultimately going to affect your efficacy and safety as well. That's why in that case you have to file the pass. Why? High risk to the product quality and require the regulatory approval before the implementation. So let's suppose the company name is X, and X company has implemented change without filing the or the without filing pass. If in this case, in this the manufacturing site change, if they just file the CB, let's suppose not 30, CB 0. So what will happen in this case if they file just CB 0? So in this case, they will just notify the FDA that we have changed the site, and now from the first day itself, they will start manufacturing their into the new facility, and they might also distribute their product. So in this case, FDA will review their application, which they file as in CB0, and obviously this is they have filed into the wrong category. So in this case, FDA will reach out to the company X and they will ask to recall all the distributed product from the market, and they may also like we apply any uh, enforce any fine to the that company. So that is the like one of the this also happened with one of the company. So you could just go onto the Google and search about the case studies like that. So that's why the classification of your change is very important. You have to first study what is our change will going to impact the product quality, efficacy, and safety. If the answer is yes, then in those cases you could just have to go with the pass. And it's also like better to have, but if you are into the confusion whether to go with the CB30 or the pass, it's always advisable to go with the higher category. Now another case study we have like change in impurity limit. They have observed the impurity increase from the 0.15% to the 0.25% during the stability, and company proposed increasing limit from the 2 to 0.2 to 0.3%. So in this case also the assessment will be like change in acceptance criteria and potential safety impact. That's why we have to file the pass. Why? Because it's impact your impurity control strategy and need the toxicological justification. Likewise, the tablet coating composition is changed. Obviously, it will going to have impact on your release. That's why you have to file the pass. And the last case study we have like change in analytical method. So you switch from the HPLC to the UPLC for the assay. Obviously, this is the new method and require validation, and decision will going to depend upon if the HPLC and UPLC are equivalent, then you could go with CB30. But if they are not equivalent, if they are having a major impact on your assay, then you have to file it as a pass, prior approval supply. So what are the common deficiencies which FDA has observed while filing the supplements? The first one is the incorrect classification. As I mentioned earlier in one of the case studies, instead of filing the pass, if company files the CB either 0 or 30, in those cases, company may get into trouble if they have implement change and distributed their product. In those cases, FDA may ask to recall all the product from the market. They also fine uh, any particular amount to that company. So, and obviously it will going to also damage the reputation of that company. So it's always advisable to properly check what kind of change it is, change assessment, and then we have to determine whether to file the pass or the CB. Then the second, we have like insufficient data. Whatever the required data for filing any change that we have to submit. Then we have the poor comparability studies, then lack of stability data, and weak justification. These are also in some of the like common deficiencies which FDA has observed. So what are the key takeaways from this? If they have a high risk, then we have to file the pass, and requires the FDA approval before the implementation. And this also based on the risk to the product quality. This includes the site change, formulation change, or the major process change. And it's always supported by data, justification, and comparability. So this is all about the prior approval supplement. Thank you.